What's going on, everyone? When it comes to accomplishing your fitness goals, like fat loss or muscle growth, have you ever found yourself struggling to trust the process or found yourself second guessing if the process is actually working for you? In this episode, Zach and I share our experiences with just that. And more specifically, we discuss how we might feel more confident about trusting the process, why sometimes it's a real struggle to do so, and we discuss some red flags or some things to look out for in the event that the process is actually not working for you. Before we dive in, if you enjoyed the episode, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out. All right, without further ado, let's get into it.
Sam, okay, so in one of your
Whoa.
recent videos, one of your recent videos that you just posted, you discussed that you're in your current prep for your next natural bodybuilding competition. And you're in
Yes.
your prep fat loss diet. You're, I think, 14 weeks in, at least when that video was posted, maybe 15, 16 weeks now. And your goal was to lose 14, 16 pounds, 20 pounds. And at that time of the recording, you said you're going to be short and maybe won't be able to meet your goal of 190. You maybe be around 194, 193. What makes you not worried about it? What makes you trust your coach, trust your process, trust the training you've been doing, not to stress out, and how to continue on with your goal that you've had?
Well, so why am I not worried? Maybe I'll start with that. I'm not worried because first thing that comes to mind is I've got so much time. It's end of September at the time we're recording. I'm not going to be stepping on stage until at the earliest May. So that's what October, November, December, January, February, March, April, like 7-ish months, 7, 8 months, something like that. So it's like, okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to be 193, 194. And then my estimated stage weight is probably going to be 170. That means I'll have to lose like 23, 24 pounds by the end of this planned pre-prep diet. But I have 7 to 8 months to do that. So it's like, because I have that much time, I'm not worried. I don't feel like I'm panicking. It's not like, oh crap, like I got to catch up big time. I need to like reevaluate everything that I'm doing. It's like I've got so much time that I can change things comfortably still. Change like my prep timeline comfortably without changing things too much. So there's that. Why else am I not worried? Other reason, I guess, would be because I've done this process enough times that I know what it's like. I know that, okay, so I got to lose 23, 24 pounds probably. I know what that's going to feel like. I know that it will happen because it's happened before. I know that because I have all of this much time that it's totally feasible with the amount of time that I have, and I'll still be able to take a diet break, a maintenance block. So that's the other big reason. So big reasons why I'm not worried, because I have lots of time. And second reason, because I've been through the process so many times that I know that it's going to be okay because I've been through it before. So the other questions, why? So am I okay with trusting the process still? Am I okay with trusting my coach still? So I work with Jeff Alberts and I definitely trust him. Couple of reasons for that, and also I'll tie this into how I trust the process itself. But with him, I've done one prep with him before, so and that was fantastic. It went exactly as well as it could have. So because that's happened, that's evidence that I'm going to be okay this time, that I can trust him this time because it's worked great before. So there's that, and his experience, he's done it himself so many times. So because he's gone through the process himself so many times, I feel like I'm comfortable being able to trust his guidance as far as like helping me map out my timeline. He's done it so many times for himself and other athletes that his coach is like, well, the proof's in the pudding. It's worked for him so many times. He's been in the trenches for so long, and his other athletes have done really well. So I
Mhm.
fully trust him, and also because I've worked with him for 3 years, and I know him pretty well, and I because of that, like, trust is formed. Like, the longer you
Mhm.
know someone, the more you reinforce trust with that other person. And if after 3 years, I feel like I trust him pretty much fully. Actually, I do trust him fully. So
Yeah.
definitely. Um, as far as my timeline, okay, so you mentioned, like, okay, so I am falling short on my initial
Mhm.
goal. The
Mhm.
initial goal was to get to the end of this pre-prep phase and to get down to like 190. And I am, like, if I keep going at the rate that I'm going, I'll get to the end of the phase, which is scheduled for a week and a half from now to end.
Mhm.
I would be like 193 to 194, so exactly as you mentioned. And the number is kind of arbitrary. At least that's, it was kind of arbitrary. Like, it was an estimate, like, it'd probably be best if you're around 190 to give us lots of time to be able to push for the extra 20 pounds. But because I recently met with my coach, whom I trust, Jeff,
Mhm.
we kind of assessed my progress, and it's like, okay, so you're here right now. You're about a week and a half away from the end of the scheduled phase that you're in, and it's not a loss for sure. Like, you still lost
Mhm.
15 pounds so far. It's going to be 16, 17 by the time you're at the end. So big chunk of fat loss is out of the way already. But that being so, you
Good.
probably could be a little bit tighter still before we take it all. So with him, he said, well, it might actually, in the grand scheme of things, be more strategic. You'll be more comfortable overall if you actually extend your fat loss phase an extra week and a half and actually dig a little harder with your deficit. So we
Yeah.
actually, based off of his guidelines, his suggestion, we take out some calories, we extend
Mhm.
the fat loss phase for an extra week and a half. So I've got 3 weeks to go instead of a week and a half to go, and see if I can scrape out an extra couple pounds and get me closer to the 190 and
Yeah.
not at 193, 94. So, and that at the end of the day is going to help me to be more comfortable when I have to dig a little bit harder later on, and make sure that I don't have to feel like I'm playing catch up at any point later when it's already going to be harder. So might as well get it over with now and then have the maintenance block or the diet phase and then get into the tough part later and not make it more difficult than it needs to be. So I am
Yeah.
making that little bit of adjustment, and
Well,
I'm trusting it.
yeah. I think that's really important for all the different listeners and viewers to kind of notice is like there's trust in the process, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to be stagnant. Doesn't mean we don't need to improve. I think a lot of people get stuck in like, hey, here's my plan. I have to stick to the plan regardless. Like, hey, if your body is not responding well, if you're feeling a little bit hurt, if you're beat down, whatever. If you're feeling great, maybe you do a little bit extra. Like that's at least been my experience. It's not like a set in stone. Trust in the process doesn't mean like, and also don't because I think a lot of people say, "Oh, well, this prep didn't work, or this plan that my coach gave me didn't work." Well, it's like, are you being stagnant? Are you not trying to improve? Are you not pushing yourself as well? Do you not have that fire in you? Like, trusting the process doesn't mean you don't have to still hold yourself accountable and work hard and make adjustments and communicate and see, hey, maybe this doesn't work quite for me. Even if you look up on the internet and the internet says do X, Y, and Z, maybe you need Y or Z instead of X. Like there's different things for different strokes for different folks. You know what I mean? So I think that's a great point you brought up about not being stagnant.
That's interesting that you brought that up because I've thought about that exact thing before too. I've heard this from other people where sometimes you'll see someone who's on a diet for a while, weeks, months, and then they hit a plateau point. Like their fat loss progress seems to stall out, it stops. And
Hmm.
then they'll say something like, I'm just trusting the process. But weeks go by and it's like, no, I'm still the same weight, but they're
Yeah.
trusting the process. Something does need to change in their
Yep.
process though to keep making they actually legitimately are stalled. And it's
Yeah.
almost like they're hiding. No, they're not in I don't think they're intentionally trying to hide behind the slogan, trust the process, but it's like almost there's a misconception
It's like a cop out.
that
Yeah.
kind of maybe they're not doing it on purpose. Maybe sometimes they're using it as almost an excuse to not
Hmm.
push a little bit harder. But to your point, sometimes like if you're following a process and things do stall out, you gotta trust the process, yes, but the process warrants that you
Yeah.
actually do change something. So that's
Yeah.
actually a really good point. I've thought about that before.
And honestly, what my experience has been with both, the last prep I did and really right now, my mind is really focused on marathon training, um, has been the consistency. Like the process is I have to run 5 to 6 days a week. And some of those runs have to be easy runs, some have to be fast tempo, and some have to be long. That's pretty much it. Like the process is that each individual micro run might not be that good. But like the process is I'm doing this plan and over time I will improve. Um, I think sometimes with how much data we can collect and watch, we hyper focus on one bad workout, one bad lift, one bad eval at work, one bad whatever the thing that we're doing. We hyper focus on negative because that's what people do. We just hope and we don't focus on the positives. So trusting the process is, hey, show up every day. Even if the weight went up on the scale that one day, that's okay. Stick with it, and you'll see it change. And if you don't, like we've talked about, then okay, let me look at it critically and make some adjustments. But I think before that, people just have to be honest with themselves. Are they actually putting in hard work and effort? And effort
Is
doesn't
there
necessarily
actually
mean
a
like
process? Are they
right.
following the
Yeah. Is there a
process?
plan or a process? Yeah. That's a good point too. I don't think a lot of people have SMART goals or whatever the acronym you want. They just show up. I've realized I've been doing this lately with my lifting, and I'm actually excited for when the marathon's done so I can actually start progressing again. Because lately I just kind of been just throwing up weight. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, it's like I hit the 1,000 pound club, and then I'm like, I'm not really pushing myself to the level I should be. You know, oh, I did 7 reps. Yeah, that's okay. Like, and next week I'm not trying to increase by 5 pounds or whatever. I've kind of just, been lazy with it. It's okay because my goals have kind of shifted right now. But yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Um, and I think also one of the things is, and I think you posted this recently on your Instagram, it was like a post or something about, I think trusting the process is also easier when you enjoy the process. Um, it's not about that destination, it's about that journey along the way. So if you're enjoying it, you're showing up consistently, you're doing it, like it makes trusting that process easier. If it's a grind every day and you hate it, you hate going to the gym, like even if it's the best plan in the world, it's probably not going to be successful for you if you aren't all in with it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever you need to be in. If you're just like, man, this sucks, it's probably not going to work. You probably need to change something. Maybe it's not optimal, but it's what's good for you.
Yeah, your mentality, it's huge. It's
Yeah.
tough too, like, because I can empathize if it's like lifting weights is something that someone just really just they don't have a natural proclivity to it. They don't enjoy
Mhm.
it. So it's tough. You have to like go out of your way to almost find things about it that you do enjoy. Like even if it's just like, hey, I like that my physique is changing and being open
Mhm.
to getting some enjoyment out of that. And then
Yeah.
other people will enjoy the process and seeing like incremental changes or improvements in strength. So like
Mhm.
it can be really addictive to see yourself getting stronger in the gym. Like that can be a lot of fun. There can be a lot of that can be a way to enjoy the process for
Yeah.
sure. I think the challenge is when it's like you really just don't like it. You have to like it's helpful, I should say, to
Yeah.
find something about it that you just like. I know
Yeah.
some people like train 2 to 3 times a week, and, like, honestly, if for anyone that wants to maintain, like, a healthy body fat percentage, have good mobility, like, having a good foundation of muscle to, like, be healthy for the rest of their life in combination with eating well, like, you train 2 to 3 days a week, 45 minutes each time, like, 30 to 45 minutes each time if you're efficient, that's that's actually pretty good, and I know some people that do that. I coach some people that do that,
Mhm.
and they don't like training, but they find things about it, like, they'll put in a podcast while they'll do
Yep.
it, and it'll be, like, this meditative experience. They don't love the lifting
Yeah.
itself, but, like, they like being able to kinda zone out when they're resting and, like, listen to their podcast or their music, and, like, they'll find little things that they can get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Uh, but
That's a
that's a
that's a
really
great point. Yeah, like if you don't enjoy something, but you understand it's a necessity, and I think that's something we at least preaching here is like fitness is, a necessity. Fitness is the foundation, right? Like you need to be healthy, to enjoy life, to take care of your kids, to be able to whatever you need to move around as you get older. Like is important. So if you don't necessarily enjoy that aspect of it, you understand it's a necessity, like paying taxes or something, right? Like you have to do it. Okay. So I think finding the things that you enjoy about it and making what's the saying? Lemonade out of lemons. Like you got to make
Make
something.
lemonade out of
I
lemons.
think that's the saying, right?
Something like
Tell
that.
us in the
Orange
comments if
juice
that's a saying.
orange juice out of oranges?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Something like
Um,
that.
so I think it's a good mature approach to it, in bettering yourself, when you might not like exactly what you're doing. Um,
You know, it's a tricky one. I've
mm,
thought about this before, is I've seen this happen before. If you trust the process, but it's the wrong, like, the process is off. So, here's an example. I actually talked to someone recently, and they described an experience that they had being coached, it's fitness coaching, and this coach had them doing something brutal. Like, it was unnecessary suffering to accomplish
mm,
fat loss. Like, it's way too aggressive of a deficit from what they described. It was just so like way too much necessary cardio, like
yeah,
just huge time investment, huge energy investment, and it just like burnt this person to the ground. And it kind of worked, but it didn't even work that well because it just
yeah,
drained them so much. And that's an interesting case, right? Because this person really trusted the process, but the process wasn't appropriate, and it ended up kind of biting them in the butt afterwards.
yeah,
But that's kind of a scary one. So maybe
yeah.
that's it's just interesting. It's making me think
Well,
about, like, maybe some people have a fear of trusting the process
mhm,
because it's like,
mhm.
what if I shouldn't trust it? What if I should be skeptical of the process?
Yeah. Well, you brought up earlier, like with your coach, like you have experience with him in the past and he has experience. Like one of my things is like, how do you get that first time person to trust that person, right? That coach, that mentor, whatever. And someone's got to take the leap of faith. You know what I mean? I think back to my very first trumpet professor in college. Me and him did not get along. I knew immediately I should not go there because our vibes were not vibing. Um, and of course, I went there to follow a girl. Whatever, separate story. And I just knew, like, I'm pretty sure the process he gave me would work, but I would be miserable, right? Like, I would have been a really good trumpet player, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it. I wouldn't have liked who I was, I don't think. So I think that's important to understand. And I don't, I mean, I sympathize with that, but also I think there's got to be some personal accountability. And in today's age, there's so much technology. People should have an idea. Like, they could research something else. If they're not feeling good, like, they should be doing YouTubing and Googling and asking these questions. If they're feeling burnt out after a workout or something's not working, kinda question the coach in a sense, like, make them earn their money a little bit. Like, "Hey, I was looking into this, and it's saying that I shouldn't be doing this much cardio." And then at the end of the day, this is a very hard thing for people to do. It's hard for me to do. Like, at the end of the day, you're paying them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I look at it. I was scared for so many years in college.
I wanted to quickly interrupt this episode to let you know about the work that I do. I work full time as an online physique coach, helping my clients to accomplish their muscle growth and fat loss goals by optimizing their approach to strength training and nutrition. I've been doing this work since 2018 and love helping my clients to transform their bodies and ultimately their lives. If you've been considering getting some help with accomplishing your own physique goals, you're invited to hit the link in the description below to learn a little bit more about the work that I do and how I can help you. You can even use that link to schedule a free video consultation with me. If you have any questions about my coaching or how I can help you, just email me at sam@jadeathletics.ca. All right, let's get back to the episode.
Like, with teachers, and now I look back, when I went back and got my master's, I was like, now I'm a grown man, like, and I'm in charge of people at work, like, it's totally different. Like, at the end of the day, we're paying the school to give me an education. I don't have to treat these people like royalty, like, everything they say is the end all be all, and when I went back to get my master's, it was a completely different relationship with my professors. I think the same thing with the coach, like, it should be a yin and yang, a give and take. And if it's a good coach, they should, I would say, like, want to listen to you and adapt to you and want your business as well. Like, I mean, there should be some mutual benefit there.
That's a really good point. Probably a red flag would be having a coach that you if you were to question them, like, "Hey, why am I doing this?" And they said, "Oh, just trust me," or like, or they give like a they answer the question in a way that doesn't really make sense,
Yeah.
or it's like kind of dodging the question. Like those are all probably like red flags. Because
Mhm.
you're to your point, you're right. If a coach prescribes their client do something, there should be an explanation behind it that they can
Yeah.
actually explain. From my
Yeah.
perspective, actually, like if someone asks me, like, "Hey, why are we doing this?" or "Why don't we do something else?" I actually really enjoy that like
Mhm.
it's I don't know. I think it's fun talking about that kind of
Yeah.
thing, but I think it's probably like
Yeah.
I think it would probably be a red flag if you were working with someone and they said, like, "You just gotta trust me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we just gotta go harder." And it's like, "Well,
Yeah.
why?"
Well, it's funny because the generation we're in now is the why. I deal with this at work all the time. I mean, in the military, it's like we want immediate obedience to orders. But it's like we always say, tell the why if you can, because obviously, like in a combat situation, you might not be able to tell them why. Like attack the hill, you can't really be debating with them. But
Yeah,
like, there's very few circumstances when you have to do that. So even in our profession, like you should explain why. And like, it's the mature approach because a leader, a supervisor, a coach, a mentor, they cannot articulate why is probably not good at. Like they're just doing it because that's what they were told to do. Like they've never put critical thought into it. They don't understand the human dynamic of someone else. Now I would say I think this maybe changes as your relationship changes, right? So like you were talking about trust. So
true.
say, me and you've been working together 3, 4 years and you know me and I know you and you say, Zach, just fucking do this. It's like, okay, like I know, you know what I mean? Like, cause he told me to. Like, and it was it is, but we've established a relationship where I think that's appropriate. But I think early on, yeah, I think it's tough for new people because it's tough for them to trust the process, especially like that's a great point I didn't even think about. What if the process is wrong? Like
Yeah,
how it's really like picking the right plan or the coach or something is you really gotta figure. And I think even if, honestly, I was just thinking about this for my marathon prep. I've done both of them by myself. I have no running coach or anything. And all I did was reach out to my friends who are runners that I trust. Right. So I think even if you don't have a coach, you probably know someone who knows someone or a friend or whatever that you value their opinion. Because I think there is some skepticism of like, anytime there's a business of money involved, like you got to be like, okay, are they telling me what I want to know or what I need to know? But if you have a friend who says, hey, this is the marathon plan that I use. This is what's working for me. I'm going to take that and be like, okay, cool. I'm running with that. That's what I did. And I basically did the plan last year. I'm doing the same plan this year. I'm just kind of modifying based off my own personal experience that I've learned. But I also would advise people not to just stick with just the plan, but like my content is like I get so many running videos now because all I do is just research different running things just all the time so I can become better and I learn different things and it validates some things or it's like, whoa, they never talk about this. Let me think about this critically. So
yeah, for sure. I can empathize with people that are trying to like figure out what the best approach is for whatever they're currently aiming for.
mhm,
If it's like a workout plan, like if it's a marathon, some kind of a marathon planner program or something like that. I can really empathize with people being uh, skeptical about like what if this is the wrong thing. Like dieting too, that's huge, right? So like
mhm,
there's a million different diets. Like what happened? Here's an interesting example. Okay, so keto diet talked about.
mhm.
I think people are talking about it less now. It's like
Yeah,
not
think
as
so.
blown up as it used to be, but you start the keto diet and it can work, but if you don't understand how like fat loss works and you're just following a keto diet, which is like you eat mostly you eat very minimal carbohydrates so that your body is in ketosis. It uses
Mhm,
fat as the storage primary source of energy, rather than what you glucose from carbohydrates or glycogen from carbohydrates. um, you can go all in on that diet, not actually lose any body fat because you're not in a deficit. You could be trusting the keto diet, but not make progress because you're still in a surplus or at maintenance
yeah,
and not in a deficit because you don't. You're trusting the diet, which can work, but there's a not a misconception. There is a misconception
mhm,
that like it's not the diet, the means can
Yeah.
work, but only if it leads to a deficit.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
if there's
Yeah.
all these little misconceptions
It's so
and that
funny. Yeah, my mom, and she probably will watch this, so I don't want to throw shade at her, but she's all about eating healthy right now, right? And homegrown stuff. And I basically said, "Cool, mom. It doesn't matter if you're eating too much still. Like you can eat the healthiest food out there, but if you're eating too
yeah.
many calories, you're still gonna gain weight. You know, so you might be
That's
healthy on the
another
inside or something. I don't know, but you know,
Yeah.
but
That's a good one, though. That is another misconception before that's a common one.
yeah.
People do often ask the question of, "Why aren't I losing weight
Mhm.
despite eating all unprocessed whole foods?" Like, I don't eat junk. I don't eat but it's like, to
Yeah.
your point, it's like they're following that process and they're trusting it, but it's not working because there's a misconception as to, like,
Yeah.
what process actually works or why a
Yeah.
process actually works.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. The the
um,
hard thing, sorry, go ahead.
well, you finish your thought because 'cause I've
Oh, no,
got a
no, you're good.
digression.
I was going off somewhere else as well.
Okay, I'll go off on my direction. Um, well, I was gonna ask about you because you mentioned, like, your process right now. You're prepping for your marathon, and you're kinda describing it. So, the process for you that you're trusting is, like, you're running consistency, you've got different running lengths. So, you got, like,
Mhm,
shorter runs, medium length runs, and then the longer runs.
mhm.
So where are you at right now as far as trusting the process? Do you ever find yourself like, "Uh-oh, I don't
Yes.
know if, like, I'm on track. I don't trust it."
Yeah, so the really bad thing is since I'm following the same exact plan as last year, and I started on the same exact day, I can't help but compare myself with last year. And so even today, I ran today and it was my 61st run in the prep. Um, Last year I did 80 runs for the total time, right? So in my thought process right now, I'm thinking if I can get more than 80 net positive, I'm getting more miles on the feet, I'm going to be more prepared. Because I'm trying not to look at the micro runs because some runs are slower, some are faster. It's just kind of it's too much. I think I'm not pushing myself as hard, which I learned. I don't have to. It's like PRing every day. You don't need to do that. And I looked at today. What is today? The 24th. And my 61st run last year was on September 19th. And I was like, oh crap. Oh crap. I'm already like 5 days behind or 6 days behind or whatever. Where am I going to make these runs up at without overdoing it? But then last year I got hurt the last 2 weeks and I didn't run. And so I was like, okay, I think I'm feeling good as long as I don't get hurt. I'm gonna get more than 80 runs. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. I was really in my head about it until last week. I was not. I didn't think my running journey and prep had been that successful. I felt like I was behind the power curve, and then I ran the half marathon last Saturday. And this is something we were going to talk about. I earlier I wanted to mention like having some kind of event or thing to kind of really check you because when you're just competing with yourself, it's really hard. By doing different random events on the way to your journey, like I think gives you a benchmark. So if you do have like a performance goal or competing against people or whatever, or a Photoshop, like if you want to lose weight by a certain time, like schedule a photo, like, 6 months in a year, 12 months or whatever. And so I did the half marathon, perfect weather. And my first like 2 miles out the door, I just like, it did not feel good. Like anyone that runs out there, you just know it just kind of like felt like laboring, exhausted. I was like, I'm too tired for running this pace. Um, and then something just clicked and I started feeling great. And around mile 6, 7, I was like, man, I think I can PR. And then basically, long story short, I finished 3 minutes faster than I did last year in my half marathon. So I beat my personal best by 3 minutes. I ran an hour and 30 minutes and 14 seconds, which is like a 6:52 pace, which is like cooking for all those lifters out there. Um, and for me, it was like really reassuring. Like I needed that because I was like stressing that my running was going to be slower and it was going to hurt. And I felt great. I didn't feel tired at all at the end. So I think it was good for my mental state and showed that the process has been working. What I've been doing has been working. I just don't push the threshold all the time, but I'm building that capacity in order to push the threshold when I need to. Um, so yeah, man, it was good though. But it's kind of funny because, and I think this ties into what we were talking about earlier. It doesn't mean you stagnate or not improve. Last year, I don't want to get too many numbers, but there was 800 runners, and I came in like 16th overall, first in my age group. This year there was 1,200 runners. I came in 15th overall,
Mhm.
and but I came in second in my age group, and the guy beat me by 6 seconds, which is like one of the most
It's like
frustrating things
a
because it's
blink of
like,
the eye.
yeah, like I could easily have done that. And one of my sub goals was to run under an hour and 30 minutes, and I missed that by 14 seconds. So it's one of those things where, of course, I was super ecstatic, but always wanting more, which I think is important in life. You should never be satisfied. You should be happy and proud of the work you've done, but you should always want more. And so we'll see. I have another month and 2 days until the actual marathon. So I did 19 miles last weekend, which is my longest run that I'm going to do for this prep, and then I'll do 15 this Saturday, and then I'll start tapering down and just. My goal is to beat my time from last year, and then I'll be happy with that. But if my half marathon's any indication, then it should work. But the body's weird, so who knows?
Yeah.
That was a really long explanation. I'm sorry.
Well, it's interesting though. It's like you're second guessing yourself, and then you did the half marathon, and like I'm kind of visualizing this
Mhm,
as you have all of this second guessing that's bouncing around in your head. You're like,
mhm.
hey, I haven't done as many runs as I did in my last marathon prep. I'm behind. So you're second guessing yourself, and all of this second guessing that's going on up there, like there's no feedback for you to get
Yeah,
like reassurance. But then you did the half marathon. It was like, hey, I actually beat last time despite not having as many runs in as last time.
mhm.
And you beat your time. And but you it was like you needed that was the feedback that you needed
Yeah,
to give you reassurance to start trusting things like
yeah.
along again. But I'm thinking about like myself too, and sometimes I need that. Like even with my process in this
Mhm,
pre-prep fat loss phase, because like throughout the process, I'm like I haven't been worrying about it because I've been, but I
mhm.
have been wondering. Like I have
Yeah,
been wondering, like, am I I wasn't not worrying, but I've been like, "Am I where I should be?" But then I
yeah,
needed something like I needed someone else's feedback to that was my thing. I needed a little
yeah,
bit of reassurance. I needed someone else's direct feedback to say like, "No, this is great. You got that first chunk of fat loss done, but let's push a little harder now." And
yeah,
there's a little
yeah,
but it's like that's interesting. I think it is really helpful to have a point if you find yourself at a place where there is all of this second guessing being bounced around upstairs and you need some reassurance. Maybe it's like, hey, that's a good sign that you should go find some reassurance in some way, if it is from like
yeah.
someone else that you trust, if it's a
Mhm.
coach, or if it's like you got to test yourself like what you did doing the half marathon. But that's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it was good. I was stressed a ton, and the good thing is, like, it's like a self-induced stress because it doesn't really matter. It matters to me, you know what I mean? But, I think it's weird too because it's like I'm heavier than I was last year. I'm trying to actually lose weight right now, and last year I was just gaining. So I'm like, "Oh, no." There's, like, a study out there that says every pound is, like, 10 seconds off every mile. It's like, "Oh my gosh," like, too much information, and I was just like, "Let's just run. Let's just go." Um, and, yeah, so it was good. It was good, and, yeah, I'm glad, and we'll see how. But then of course I'm thinking the weather was perfect. What if the weather's not perfect? You just start saying all these what ifs, and it's just like it is what it is. But I think for people out there listening, like we talked a lot about trusting the process, but I think it's important for them to even hear, like, you and I in our different journeys right now, like we have those same questions and self doubt and struggles. Um, we stick with it. We stay consistent. We reach out to mentors, coaches, friends. I would advise everyone else to do that. You can always reach out to Sam and myself. Join our Discord, which I'm sure we'll put a plug in there. But I think it's important. You need to listen to people you trust, and bounce feedback off of, and stay consistent with it. I think that's my tagline I always say on every one of my videos. Um,
What is it? It's
yeah.
stay disciplined, feed the motivation.
Yeah, stay consistent, build the discipline, feed the motivation. Yes. So it's
I
okay.
like
There's a video of me and my wife. I turned the camera to her and I was like, "Honey, say the tagline," and she's like, "Motivation, discipline, stuff." And I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh no."
Yeah, motivate your discipline so that you can be consistent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Get it backwards.
yeah. Yeah,
Scramble it
exactly.
all up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I think it's good. I don't know, any kind of last parting shots you think of what people should like maybe look for or what they should do or kind of last little helping hand?
I think you summarized it really well in that if you want to accomplish a goal, there ought to be a process that you should stick with and be consistent with. I think I think it's okay to question the process if you question it, but then you should go find an answer. You should try to find an answer, like you noted. If you have a friend or a coach or a mentor or someone, try to find an answer to it. But if you have a goal, there should be a process. You should be consistent with it. And if you can find some way of enjoying it, it'll make it easier.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was great. I think it was great. So for everyone who's watching, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. It helps us out big time too. If you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Let us know if um, you've ever questioned your own process. If you've ever struggled with trusting the process, let us know about your experiences. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.